Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great day thus far. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and kind of talk through something I've been thinking about out loud. I was having a conversation with one of my friends earlier this week, and he was talking about an opportunity that he was considering and how he was afraid of a certain outcome. And, we talked through it and that worked out good and all, but it put the concept of fear and the thought of fear on my heart and on my mind kind of all week long. And I've been processing some thoughts and working through it. And, I kind of love to share that framework and what I've been going through with you guys. Hopefully it's helpful and hopefully you can give me some feedback as well. But a lot of times we look at fear as something very negative, right? It's something that is keeping us in our comfort zone. It's something that's bad. It's negative. We should put it to the side. Some people use fear to talk them out of opportunities, and some people use fear to propel them forward. But when I was thinking about fear, as a believer, I like to think of everything in the perspective of, why did God give us this emotion, right? He gave us everything. Everything he made is great and it's good. So fear shouldn't be, something that we look at as a bad thing. It should be looked at as something that's good. That's a blessing that we can utilize with a purpose. And obviously fear kind of comes from that fight or flight mechanism that we have. And it comes about when we're proposed with an opportunity, an event, a situation that could turn out in a way that we view as negative. And instead of looking at the opportunity as negative, I wanted to look at everything, from a positive perspective and really reframe how I'm looking at fear. And I was thinking about some of the acronyms that's been shared with us for fear over the years, right? Like false evidence appearing real, or forget everything and run. And I was thinking, I was like, do these acronyms, do these, frameworks and perspectives of fear really help me deal with the emotion in general? And I actually don't find them that very effective for me personally. I think sometimes the thing that we fear is not false evidence appearing real. It's something that's a real possibility that, we're worried and we're concerned about. So it's something that deserves our attention. And I was thinking about, why we fear God. And it's a certain level of respect when we fear him, right? It's not a tremble. He's, this God who we should just run away from, hide under the blanket and never, talk to, never engage, never love or respect. It's a fear of, hey, like, when you deal with God, come from a place of respect and understand the power, the authority that you are engaging with, right? And the way God works, to me, it's not like things change just when dealing with him. There's a concept, there's a belief, there's a way of approaching things that he wishes for us to deal in all areas of life. And I know I fear God, and there's nothing else that I want to fear on this earth. There's nothing else that I should fear on this earth. But the emotion of fear comes up in situations, and it doesn't mean it's not supposed to. I just believe it's not supposed to stay in a place where we remain afraid of a certain thing. And as I looked closer, I was like, well, what does fear do? What does it do for us? What does it cause us to do, or how to react? And the first thing I wanted to do is kind of come up with a new framework that would be beneficial for me, and I wanted to share that with you guys as well. And I realized the first thing fear does, it makes us focus on something, right? It's a caution sign. It's saying, hey, here's a new situation where you're not 100% sure on how it may turn out, and it could turn out in a way that's going to be harmful to you. So, proceed with caution, essentially, right? And I think that just gives us something to focus on. And I think that's what the F stands for me, is it's focus. It's like, hey, there's an outcome that I'm concerned about. There's a worry that I don't want to come to fruition. I may not have control over it, but hey, I have an opportunity to kind of focus on that and get a deeper understanding. The next letter, E, I believe, is for us to engage. You can also swap that out for enlightenment, but the purpose of engaging is for enlightenment, essentially. And I believe what we need to do is, learn more about what we're taking caution on. So let's just say, for example, I'm I'm afraid of performing a song in front of a large crowd. And it's like, well, hey, what's my fear? Oh, my fear is I'm going to forget all the words. It's a new song and I'm going to embarrass myself and I'll never be able to come back from an embarrassment like that. Okay, so let's engage. Let's enlighten myself. What's the reality of actually forgetting all the words? It's like, well, hey, I may not forget all of them, but I'm not comfortable with the words over the second verse. I'm not comfortable with the words over the bridge of the song. So it's like, okay, well, we need to enlighten ourselves on that. We need to practice that. That is the element that you are concerned about. So, hey, what fear did was give you a part of the song or a part of the performance to focus on so that you can then engage with it, enlighten yourself, and grow from it, which essentially is the next letter. I believe is for to adapt, right? When we're adapting, there's a certain level of transformation. There's a certain level of growth. We have to become something more than what we are in order to adapt to a situation. And I think that's a really great way to look at it. You can also swap that one out for adaptation, adjustment, either one. But again, that's what I think is really great for us to fall in line to. So we have what we focus on. We need to focus on the words to the bridge, right? And then we engage, we enlighten ourselves. We're like, hey, these are the words to the bridge. I have them, and now I need to adjust. I need to practice. I need to change my habits. I need to transform into someone who's going to put in the work and know these words hands down, right? So that's the opportunity for the adjustment. And then we reflect, right? I sit back and I look at the work that I did. Hey, is this enough work? Did this, allow me to put in the steps that's going to help me get the performance done at a high level, at the level that I would wish to get it done? So there's some level of reflection that we need to do after we put in the work. So I think that's a much better framework and perspective for fear for me is focus, engage, adapt, and reflect. And when I come up with frameworks and I think of things like this, I want to make sure it's not only working in everyday life, but it's something that also works in my everyday spiritual life. So between me and God as well. And I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, well, how does this apply to me and my relationship with God? And is this something that's going to actually be beneficial? And I say, well, let's walk through it, right? So first, F, focus. Yeah, when we have a walk with Christ, we need to focus on him. We need to understand his wills, his desire, his vision for our life. So our focus, our eyes should be on him and not necessarily what we see in the natural, not necessarily what we see going on and what our fear is, right? Not the worst outcome that we are walking towards with caution, but we need to focus on what he's saying is right and valid for our life. So yeah, focus definitely works. And engage. And we're absolutely called to engage with God, to pray, to read our word, to again get an understanding for what his vision is and his desire for our life. So I absolutely want to engage with him. And then adapt. As a believer and somebody who desires to be like Christ was perfect, right? And I'm never going to be perfect. So there's always a level of adaptation. There's always a level of adjustment and change and transformation that I get the opportunity to insert into my life. So what area is God working on in my life currently where I have the opportunity, the chance to make adjustments to be more like him? And then reflect. I have an opportunity to sit back and I'm going to think about, what is God telling me? How does he want me to move? Is that something that is going to help me, move closer to him, or is that going to push me farther away from him? So I think that reflection is really, really huge for us, because there's always a level of meditation and listening that we need to do. We need to sit back and reflect on what he's telling us and how he would like us to move. So I believe that framework, that mindset, that perspective of fear is a lot more beneficial for me. So again, instead of the forget everything and run or false evidence appearing real, it's focus, engage, adapt, reflect. And when approaching fear with that perspective in our everyday life, it's going to limit fear. It's going to eradicate fear. You may still have nerves, which can be viewed as an excitement, right? But the fear of it should be addressed, because you're like, hey, I'm worried about this perspective, or I'm worried about this situation or this outcome. And maybe you can't control that, but you have an opportunity to focus in and take all the action that you need to limit that possibility. And I think looking at fear in this general way is going to help us achieve our goals. It's going to help us be victorious in our life. And it's going to also help us with our walk with God if you're a believer as well. So I just wanted to hop on here, share that perspective with you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Is this something that you think is beneficial for you guys? Is this something that you think would actually help you guys in your walk in life when it comes to different aspects that you have feared? Hopefully it does. But just wanted to hop on here, share that with you guys real quick. I hope you're having a great day. Have a victorious day as well. And I'll holler at you guys next time. Peace.